Okay, so as we do know that the most important functions of the airway is to warm and clean the air, but there's no gas exchange or very minimum gas exchange actually take place. Okay, very minimum gas exchange actually take place in the airway, but most of the gas exchange actually take place, or basically that means almost all the gas exchange actually take place at the alveolar surface. So therefore, alveolar surface must fulfill the gas exchange functions. Okay, so what are these gas exchange functions? Wait, guys. So if you let's go back to what we have learned previously, the adaptation of the gas exchange system. For adaptation, first, for gas exchange system, we do need to have the ability to cleanse and warm the air. So done by the airway and our nasal cavity. Okay. Second, we must have a huge surface area. Then we have to depend on the alveolus or alveoli in this case. And then we must have a short diffusion distance. So means that the cells that line our alveolus and also the blood capillary must be a thin cells. So provide a short diffusion distance. And the blood circulation that bring in the deoxygenated blood into the lung and oxygenated blood out of the lung must continue, and ventilation must continue as well to make sure that we have a steep partial pressure gradient or maintain adequate gradient to allow the diffusion to continue to take place. Okay, we don't want to have a dynamic equilibrium to be achieved. Okay, so let us look at our notes here in terms of alveolus. So alveolus individual, okay, if you look at each of them about 100 to 300 micrometer across, and they are huge in terms of the number, about 300 to 500 millions with a total surface area approximately 70 meter square. Okay, so it's quite huge. Okay, so alveoli highlight this. They provide a very short diffusion distance and very large surface area over which oxygen and carbon dioxide can be exchanged. Okay, and because of short diffusion distance and large surface area, definitely increase the rates of diffusion. Okay, so how they provide a very short diffusion distance? If you look at alveoli, they are very, very thin. A lot of time we say one cell thick. One cell thick is not qualified. Why? Because if I use this epithelium, I use a cuboidal, or I use this columnar epithelium that we learned, they are very thick. Correct or not? But in alveoli wall, they are very, very thin. So it consists only a single layer highlight squamous epithelium with a very thin layer of the cytoplasm. Okay, and if you look at the alveolar wall, they contain this what we call the elastic fiber, similar to the elastic fiber that found inside our tunica media. So it means that this elastic fiber can be stretched. Okay, the wall can be stretched during the inhalations. So it allowed the alveoli to fully expand, and so that's the high surface area for the diffusion. And very important to expel out the air, then this elastic fiber have to recoil during the exhalation. So inhalations actually expand our alveoli. So it means that making the surface area even larger for the diffusion to take place, and the recoil of this elastic fiber allow us to force out the air. Okay. And the wall also contains some collagen fiber. As you know, that collagen fiber always help us to provide the support as well as to help to prevent alveoli from bursting. Okay, so this collagen fiber work together with the elastic fiber so that our alveoli won't be over expand. Okay, so the capillary. You look at the capillary, so capillary actually have a very close contact with the alveolus wall, and we do know that for capillary, they also one layer of the squamous epithelium or endothelium, so made very, very thin. So what is the total diffusion distance? If you look at the inside of the alveolus to the inside of the red blood cell, it's about 1 micrometer only. So this is how short the diffusion distance is. Okay, and we do know that short diffusion distance increases the rate of the diffusions of O2 and CO2. And we need to maintain a steep partial pressure gradients. How we maintain? Maintained by the blood circulations as well as the ventilation. Means the inhalations and exhalation. So the blood that bring in again the carbon dioxide from the tissues to the lung, ensuring carbon dioxide partial pressure in the blood is higher than the air in the alveoli. So therefore, we can get rid of CO2. The blood also carries oxygen away from the lung, ensuring that the concentration of oxygen in the blood is kept lower than the air inside the alveoli. So therefore, oxygen can continue to enter into the blood capillary. And the ventilations here ensure there is a fresh supply of the oxygen enter the lung, and carbon dioxide is also removed. So with the ventilation. Okay, so this diagram actually summarizes the process that takes place inside the one alveolus. Okay, so this is alveolar cavity. So we have low partial pressure of CO2 and high partial pressure of CO2. So therefore, CO2 can move from the red blood cells or from the tissue fluids, not tissue, the blood plasma, enter into the cavity of the alveolus. And vice versa, because of ventilation, inhale the air contains high O2 concentration, and the blood enter into the lung have low O2 concentrations or O2 partial pressure. Therefore, O2 diffuse from the alveolar cavity into the blood capillary. Okay, so you can see that red blood cell actually compress against the capillary wall. The diameter, the diameters of these red blood cells is roughly about 7 micrometer. So the distance from the red blood cells, the age of the red blood cell to the alveolus actually is about 1 micrometer only. So the idea here is not really inside alveolus, but basically at the edge of the alveolus to the edge of the red blood cell. It's about 1 micrometer. Okay. So if you look at this, the alveolus, so alveolus, they're lined by this what we call the squamous epithelium. It's a very thin flat cells. Okay, let me draw out for you guys. Okay, so this, can you see that? They are very, very thin until the nucleus, show the protrusion in this case. Okay, so this cells is termed as the squamous epithelium. Okay, so inside here is called as an alveolar cavity. Okay, alveolar cavity. So how about the blood capillary? So blood capillary also lined by the squamous epithelium, but we give them a special name called endothelium. Very flat and thin cells only. Okay, so where's the red blood cell? So this will be our red blood cell. So from the edge of the red blood cell enter into alveolar, the space, the distance here, can you see that? The distance is about 1 micrometer. So very, very short diffusion distance. Can you see that? Okay, from inside, basically slightly inside until the alveoli is here. So what is the name of the cells? So this one, sorry, I forgot to draw the nucleus. This is the blood capillary. So the cells that line the blood capillary, we call endothelium. So it's a type of, it's still a squamous epithelium, but we give them a special name called endothelium. So they are very, very thin, provide short distribution distance. And don't forget, we do always have this, the ventilations. So bring in the air, fresh air. So fresh air contains the high O2, and we get rid of CO2. So same, the bloods, the endo will have high in the CO2, but low in terms of O2. So means that O2 diffuse into the blood capillary, CO2 diffuse out. Okay, from the blood capillary into the alveolar space. Okay, so how to maintain this adequate? Basically, it depends on the ventilations and also the blood flow. Okay, and the surface, you always know that. So high surface area. Okay, for the gas exchange to take place. So this one basically summarizes the structures of our alveolus as well as our blood capillary. Okay, so try to figure out how many layers of the membranes require, okay, for the O2 to diffuse from the alveolar cavity into the red blood cells. How many layers of the membrane? So this is why one of the very famous questions asked in objective. Okay, how many layers of the membrane? Or sometimes they may be tricky. They ask you how many layers of the phospholipid. Okay, be careful. It's not phospholipid like phospholipid bilayer, but phospholipids. So means that one phospholipid bilayer consists of 2 layers of phospholipids. So when I answer the question, sometimes it might be quite tricky. Okay. So if we look at this, this is a histology. Okay. So I enlarge it. So it's so thin. It's so thin that you can see that the blood capillary and the alveolar wall is actually something like merged together. So this is one alveolus, 2 alveoli, and you can see some blood vessel. Okay, large artery. The artery. We have a lot of red blood cells inside. So this is the wall of the alveoli. So it's so thin that you won't be able to differentiate. Okay, the wall of alveoli and also the red blood cells. But by using a stain, you'll be able to see. In this case, guys, you can see a bit purplish color. Purplish color, they are the nucleus of the squamous epithelium. Then a bit reddish or pinkish in color, they are red blood cells. Okay, so you won't be able to see the capillary because it's very, very tiny, but you can see the red blood cell. So the alveolar wall together with the capillary and also red blood cell. Are you clear? So how it differentiates? A bit purplish color. Can you see that purplish color? Purplish color, those are the nucleus of the squamous epithelium, okay, or endothelium. Then you can see that the pinkish color, they are red blood cells. Okay. So before we end for today's lesson, so now activity 7.4, okay, is very important. Okay. So trachea, you need to know. Bronchus, we need to know. Bronchiole, we need to know. Terminal bronchiole, respiratory bronchiole, and alveoli ducts. This one is for your informations only. And alveoli, we need to know. So complete table of 7.1 by placing a tick if the feature is present or a cross if the feature is absent. Okay, try to complete this table 7.1 now as a summary. Okay, let's look at these few structures. Trachea, cilia, definitely yes. Okay, and this cilia actually appear on what? Cilia appear on the pseudo-stratified ciliated columnar epithelium. Okay, so trachea and also bronchus, both of them, they are the same. From where? From where we can get the cilia in the trachea and also bronchus, both of them appear on this pseudo-stratified ciliated columnar epithelium. Okay, because trachea and bronchus no gas exchange, so therefore we won't have the squamous epithelium. Can I see that? No squamous epithelium because there's no gas exchange, so we don't need to have a very thin epithelium there. Okay, in fact we need to have a thick one to maintain the structure. Okay, cartilage, trachea and bronchus, both of them have cartilage, but the difference here is the cartilage. Okay, the cartilage for the trachea is the incomplete C-shaped cartilage, but bronchus, irregular block of cartilage. How about goblet cells? Yes, both of them, they have goblet cells. Okay, how about smooth muscle? Yes, trachea, but trachea smooth muscle only connects the two ends of the incomplete C-shaped cartilage. But for bronchus, smooth muscle actually surrounding the entire structure. Site of gas exchange, both of them, they are not sites of a gas exchange. Okay, now because they have a smooth muscle here, guys, because they're smooth muscle, so generally smooth muscle will secrete this or to produce this elastic fiber. So means that if a question asks for elastic fiber, as long as they have the smooth muscle, generally they do have the elastic fiber. Are you clear? Okay, but with elastic fiber doesn't mean that must have smooth muscle. Have smooth muscle normally, yes, but when the cells or when the tissue have the elastic fiber doesn't mean that they must have a smooth muscle. For example, Alveolus. Alveolus, they have elastic fiber but no smooth muscle. How about bronchiole? Bronchiole, if I ask you about bronchiole, now this is a confusion part because sometimes question asks bronchiole as a collectively entire thing as a bronchiole. Okay, so first, bronchiole, yes, we do have a cilia, but this cilia appear on this. If let's say at the top part of the bronchiole, the initial part of bronchiole, so this one is the ciliated columnar epithelium, but slowly, gradually change to ciliated cuboidal. Okay, squamous epithelium, they don't have because bronchiole again, no gas exchange. Cartilage they don't have. Goblet cell, yes, they do have the goblet cell, but the number of goblet cell gradually change, okay, decrease. Smooth muscle, yes, they do have a smooth muscle and the elastic fiber. Site of gas exchange, answer is no. How about terminal bronchiole, cilia? Yes, they have the cilia, but limited. Okay, same goes to the respiratory bronchiole. So they have limited cilia. Squamous epithelium, they don't have because it's not a gas exchange surface. Cartilage, they don't have cartilage. Goblet cells, they don't have the goblet cells. Smooth muscle, yes, for the terminal bronchiole, but respiratory bronchiole, they don't have a smooth muscle anymore. Are you clear? Okay, because you do not need to change this diameter anymore. Okay, but they do have the elastic fiber. Okay, terminal bronchiole is not a site of gas exchange, and respiratory bronchiole, they are not the sites for the gas exchange. Alveolar duct cilia, they don't have because they just epithelium only, they don't have the cilia anymore. Squamous epithelium, no, they just a cuboidal epithelium. Okay, right now, alveolar duct is cuboidal. Okay, cartilage, they don't have cartilage. Goblet cells, they don't have smooth muscle, they don't have, they are the sites for the gas exchange started from the alveolar duct. Okay, alveoli, confirm no cilia. Yes, because gas exchange, they have the squamous epithelium. It's a bit special about the alveolar ducts here, even though gas exchange take place, but it's not a major gas exchange site. Gas exchange site is at alveoli. Okay, so but these three for your informations only. Yeah. Okay, cartilage, no. Goblet cell, no. Smooth muscle, no. Site of gas exchange, yes. Even though they don't have the smooth muscle, alveoli do have the elastic fiber. And this elastic fiber is very important to make a recoil to expel out the air and also allow the stretching of the wall of this alveolar wall. Okay, so with this, I have done the gas exchange system, I mean, in terms of the histology. Okay.